Hey YouTube, it's Nova Piper here. It's Cobb Tuesday for all you guys out there, guys and gals. And for me, it's Cobb Saturday. And of course, I'm smoking one of my corn cobs. I don't know what this one's called. Missouri Meerschaum. Look at that grain. Look at that grain. Look at the grain. Oh, look at it. Some serious grain. And I'm smoking Dunhill My Mixture 965. I'm drinking some new coffee today, Keurig. I had a big box of 40 of them for, I don't know, it's cheap, it's on sale. It was like 40 K-cups for, I don't know what it was, but it was well under 20 bucks. I think it was only $12, $13, which is pretty good around here. But it's medium dark, so it's not quite, it could be darker, and I like dark coffee. And the K-cups are supposed to be 100% compostable. So you don't gotta throw them in the garbage, put them in the bin. Now this tobacco, I've only smoked it a few times. I'm not a fan of it. So I'm going to keep trying it because sometimes I find it takes a few, it can take quite a few bowls before you can really appreciate a tobacco. This one's pretty dry. I left it in a tin, a couple months old. Probably, 6 months old easy, I'm assuming. If I remember correctly. Probably older than that. I've had it quite a long. It could be longer. I have hard time. Not very good at tracking time, concept of time. I think it's only been a few months. It might be a year. First few puffs off, it actually tastes really good. This is the best I've ever had this stuff. Maybe you just needed some age and some dry time. Coffee all over me, man. I gotta trim. A little different than what I'm used to, but lots of people love it. Lots of people love Dunhill blends, and this other English blend from Dunhill I've tried is Nightcap. Not really a fan of that. I don't remember how strong this 965 is, so I'm just going to try to take it easy. Learn to slow down. Yeah, this tastes way different. See, this is what I mean. It's when I first got it, I wasn't really a fan of it. It was really cigarette-y. And this can's been sitting there for quite some time now. The tobacco's dried out. I'm actually putting one of them buttons in it there to try to get some moisture back into her. It's a little too dry. I stuck it into a jar just now when I'm soaking one of my buttons in water. I'll pop that in there. A lot of my tobacco dried out over the winter. Not the stuff in the jars, that's usually pretty good, of course, but I keep a lot of wet tobacco I keep in the can. I like to get it dried out. Then I rehydrate it. Or if I can get it right to the sweet spot, then I'll jar it. But most of the plastic lid cans, I don't take them. I leave them in there the whole time. It takes a long time for that tobacco to dry out. But my point I was trying to make is your first impressions of a tobacco aren't always going to be your lasting impressions. It takes a while, a few bowls. I never smoked this very much because I wasn't a fan of it, but now it's, I could really, I'm sure that it's mellowed out because it's been sitting there for a while. And you can really tell. I'm also finding some of the tobacco that I smoke regularly even taste a little different. I find my flavors change. I like. Here's another example. When I first started, before I got hardcore into the English blends, I was smoking Frogmorton, some of the Frogmorton blends, like regular Frogmorton Cellar, Across the Pond. Across the Pond was a lot different than the other two, but they were all very similar. Absolutely loved it. I think my favorite Frogmorton was Frog in a Log, just the regular one. Anyway, not too long ago, I had some jars in there that are probably almost 2 years old. So I put in some Cellar. I just had no love for it. I was like, holy shit. I found that really weird. Now, some of the components in there may not age well, and I'm pretty sure it's got some Cavendish in there. I was listening to an interview with the guy from McClelland. Forget his name there, the guy who runs it. He's really comical and outspoken. And he was saying when he invented the Frogmortons, it was his wife who gave him the idea about Black Cavendish. And he just kind of said it, but when you read the contents, I don't think it says Cavendish in there. And it's got to have some kind of taste to it. Not the Cellar, because it's got that bloody, it's got the cask, that chunk out of the whiskey barrel in there. But let's say the other ones, like Frog in a Log, it's one I really liked. It's got some kind of flavoring to it. It has to. And sometimes the flavored tobacco doesn't age the same as, say, like a Virginia would. Even Latakia. Latakia ages differently than a Virginia. Virginia will just get better and better, and the Latakia, it's not as noticeable. It kind of just smooths out or mellows out. This has both Virginia and Latakia. So the Virginia is probably sweetened up and mature. And the Latakia just mellows out in this stuff, but you just lit it, right? So right now it's not so bad. Yeah. Gotta give stuff a chance. I'm always saying that. You got Balkan Sassini. I love that stuff. I just bought it on a chance one time. I said, oh, what the hell, I'm going to buy it. And I didn't really like it at first, and now I absolutely love it. It's like one of my top 3. Has been for a while. Yeah, this is really good. I'm sure the flavor is going to change a bit though. So as I get into it a little bit, it's again the consistency thing. If I can smoke it slow. That's the trick. I'm smoking all kinds of different tobacco lately. I keep saying that, but I do try different stuff. You know, it's always fun. Find a new tobacco and you get into it. So I was stocking up on some of my favorites, some of the stuff I really like. I got a couple of cans of it there, and you know, now I'm not touching it as frequently because I'm getting into some other stuff. So, you know, when I go back to it, it's like, oh my God, this doesn't taste like I remember. And, you know, some people think of that as a bad thing, but I think that's kind of cool because, you know, there's a different flavor to it. It's refreshing, right? Keeps me interested. But yeah, I gotta sip this. That's one of my problems is I smoke way too fast. And when you're chowing down, man, when you're puffing away, it's going to taste completely different than if you just sip it. I have a hard time sipping it. Just it tastes so good. I just want that intense flavor. And some people like there, a puff like that would be sufficient for most people, but for me it's like, oh, it's going out. And it makes it taste different. Anyway, yep, 965. Who knows? Might like it again. Not again, but I might like it. Anyway, that's it for today. Everyone take care. So you go.